Hey, this is Pastor Dave, and this is your Monday Mojo. Hope you had a great weekend. I want to begin by saying a huge thank you to all of you. As many of you know, my dad passed away on January 12th, and I got the call on Sunday morning right as I was about to start church. And throughout the past week, the number of people who have sent kind and encouraging words over Facebook has been just absolutely amazing. And the kinds of things that you said about my father and about his story, and then showing up for the calling hours and for the service on Saturday. I woke up Sunday not knowing how I would feel, and I felt ministered to by you, by your mourning with my family, and by being able to honor him and to tell his story well on Saturday, and your showing up was just absolutely amazing. So I can't tell you thank you enough. Now I want to begin my topic. Happy Inauguration Day. No. Hold on. I know there's a bunch of you that hear me say that are ready to turn off your video and go away. But hear me out. Just stick around for a couple of minutes and hear me out. When I was a young pup coming into the United Methodist Church, they would always bring the retired ministers up front, and they'd give them a microphone and say, hey, here you go ahead and talk, say whatever you want to say. Dangerous thing to do with a pastor. But they gave this one guy the microphone and passed it to him, and he said, I'm just not really very confident about these young ministers. And I thought, oh, gosh, here we go. It's the young whippersnapper speech, right? And then he said something that has stuck with me forever. He said, when we come together, and when we would come together for our annual conference, you would have legislative groups, and you'd get put in one of those legislative groups, and there was a topic or a theme or an issue that was being discussed, and you'd go into that room. And he said, we'd go into that room and we would cuss and we would discuss and we would fight and we would argue about that topic and we would wrestle it to the ground from all different kinds of angles. And then somebody would say, I call the question, which meant it was time to vote. And then we would vote. And then a vote was taken. And sometimes your point won and sometimes your point didn't. And you might have been passionately defending that point. But when the vote was taken, we all shook hands and we walked out of the room and we went to annual conference together, united as United Methodists. Believe me, back in the day, I was in some of those meetings and some of those conversations, and my point did not always win. But we went out of there together as United Methodists. He said, I'm concerned about this younger generation because they don't know how to fight. If they lose, that's all they do is hold on to it. The great thing about being an American is that every 4 years, we get to cast a vote as a people and say, I like the way it's going, I don't like the way it's going, I like the way this party's doing it, I don't like the way this party's doing it. Thomas Jefferson wrote a letter several years ago, 1789, to a gentleman named Francis Hopkinson, and he said this, I never submitted the whole system of my opinions to the creed of any party of men, whatever in religion, in philosophy, in politics, or in anything else, where I was capable of thinking for myself. Such an addiction is the last degradation of a free and moral agent. If I could not go to heaven but with a party, I would not go there at all. That's a pretty strong statement. If I could not go to heaven but with a party, I wouldn't go there at all. 4 years ago, I did a Mojo, or I did some kind of a post saying there are some people who are not happy about who won when Joseph Biden took office. This year, there are people who are not happy about who won. But the beautiful thing about America is that we're Americans together. We get to move forward together. And 4 years from now, if we don't like it, we can say, hey, listen, we're going to vote this clown out or this party out, and we're going to move on, and we're going to find somebody else. I hope, as I said 4 years ago, I say now, I hope that we can all move together like those United Methodists that went into annual conference, that we could move together as Americans as we move forward in this country today. I think that unity is an important part of who we are. It's definitely an important part. And if you're a follower of Jesus, being stuck on one party over the other is a dangerous place to be. Our allegiance is to one person. His name is Jesus. And sometimes Jesus agrees with what the Democratic Party is saying is important, and sometimes Jesus agrees with what the Republican Party says is important, but our allegiance is to him. And then we move forward as an American. Anyway, those are my thoughts. Hopefully you stuck around. For those of you who didn't, sorry. Anyway, that's your Monday Mojo for today. Have a great week.